Morning, children. Once again, I welcome you all for this online class. And today we are moving into part 2 of lesson 1 in history. And in the last class, we covered almost major part of our syllabus in the last class. And today we are continuing with part 2 of lesson 1. And the title of our lesson is What is History? And today we are going to focus upon the periods in history timeline. Okay, what are the major periods in historical timeline? Okay, so periods in historical timeline is divided into three important parts. One is prehistory, the second one is protohistory, and the final one is history. Okay, so what is prehistory? One by one we'll study now. Okay, so uh, prehistory is a period of time in which there were no written records found. Okay, man did not learn writing system, that is called prehistoric time. So there is no informations, written informations about prehistoric period. So how can we identify then without writing? Only through the paintings and the pictures drawn on the walls of the caves and rocks, and also through the tools man used, finding the tools man used during this period. So only with the materials excavated through archaeology we understand about prehistoric period, and there is no written records about prehistoric period. And in prehistoric period, man did not had any civilization. Okay, civilization means what? It is a developed human society. Okay, today we are in civilized uh, system. We are in civilized history. We live in group, and we are developed groups, and we have social interaction with each other. But prehistoric man, he is not like us. He was not a social being. He roamed from one place to another for food. Okay, and also there were no civilizations, there were no laws, there were no rules and regulations man followed. He walked around the world like an animal. Okay, so this time of period, without no culture, no civilization, no proper law, rules and regulations, we call that period as prehistoric period. Okay, and the timeline of this period is approximately from 30,000 BC to 1000 BC. So after prehistoric period, there was a short period. Okay, this is not long, it is a short period called proto-history. So what is proto-history? It is a time period between prehistoric period and historic period in which man started civilization. Okay, man became a social being. He started to progress. He started to develop, not like prehistoric man who was like an animal. Now man started to develop his knowledge, but still he was not familiar with writing, and there is no proper historical records. No writing records were found. So that particular period is called proto history, a period which is in between prehistoric period and historic period. And finally, the third one is historic period. So, what is historic period? In this period, man is well civilized and there is written records available. Uh, a man learnt writing and everything were written and recorded in history. So this period we call it historic period. So the timeline of this period is from 1500 BC to 1500 BC to till now so far. Okay, so these are the three important periods of history in historic timeline. Okay, so if you look at the prehistoric period, it is divided into three parts. Okay, the first part is called Stone Age period. The second part is called Bronze Age period. Third period is called Iron Age period. So, what is Stone Age period? The period of time when man started using stone as weapons and tools. That is called Stone Age period. So, man started to use stones as weapons. He made tools using stones and he hunted animals. So that period is called Stone Age period. After Stone Age period, man started to use metals and initially man used bronze metals. So that period is called Bronze Age. And the third system of prehistoric age is called Iron Age, where man started to uh, discover iron and he started to use iron weapons and tools. Okay. And further, Stone Age is divided into three periods. Okay, that is Paleolithic period, Mesolithic period, and Neolithic period. Lithic is a Greek word meaning stone. Okay, lithos. Lithos is a Greek word of stone from which we get English word lithic. So Paleolithic is the beginning stage of Stone Age period. Mesolithic is the middle age and Neolithic is the later period of Stone Age. Okay. Okay, so we studied about protohistoric period, isn't it? So during protohistoric period, civilizations were well developed. Okay, the period for which records in writing is available but not yet deciphered. Okay, so writing is not yet found, discovered. That period is called protohistoric period. Historic period also we studied, isn't it? So it is the time period when writing system was introduced and written records were maintained. Okay, now we are moving into the sources of archaeology. We studied about some major sources, isn't it? Two types of sources of archaeology, isn't it? One is archaeological sources, another one is literary sources. So now we are going to study about archaeological sources. So in archaeological sources, the first type is artifacts. Okay. So what are artifacts? All the handmade materials, we call them artifacts. See here, pottery. So pottery is made by man through his hands using clay. Okay. So pottery is one of the prehistoric materials which gives informations about the time. Okay. Next one is toys. Toys also, uh, prehistoric man he discovered and he used clay and some kinds of metals to make toys. Okay, this is also handmade material which comes under artifacts. And the third artifact is tools. So man using stones, he made tools. Okay, look at the picture. These are stone tools used by prehistoric man. So they are also made using hands. So they comes under artifacts. And the another system is ornaments. Okay, ornaments. See, look at the prehistoric man, how he used ornaments using stone, small pebbles, stones, and other materials. And he made bangles, earrings, chains, etc. Okay, so all these things are made using hands, handmade materials. They comes under artifacts. And the second archaeological source is coins. Okay, look at the picture. These are the ancient coins. So coins also give information about prehistoric age. Okay, so in coins there may be some pictures about some historic people, or maybe some writings. Okay, okay, so now we move into inscriptions. The third system of source of archaeological sources, inscriptions. What is inscriptions? Anything, any writing that was engraved on hard surfaces. Hard surfaces like stones, rocks, metals, they are called inscriptions. Okay, so look at the picture. It is a rock edict. Rock edict means any decree, decree or law or command given by the king, they are recorded on rocks. They are called rock edicts. Temple wall inscriptions. So, temple wall inscriptions is also another type of inscription which comes under archaeological sources. Look at the picture in your display. You could see on the walls writings are engraved. Okay, so this picture is taken from Budramerur, a place in southern part of Tamil Nadu, which has in temple wall inscriptions. Then the another type of inscription is metal pillar inscriptions, which is another archaeological source. Okay, in metal pillars, in metals, they engrave writings. Okay, so these are some of the sources which gives informations about the prehistoric period. And after, so three archaeological sources we studied about, isn't it? First one we studied is artifacts. Second one we studied about coins. Third one we studied about inscriptions. And finally we are going to study about monuments. Okay, so what are monuments? Any structure or building that was erected in remembrance of anybody or anything we call monument. Okay, so see here, this is a palace. It is an ancient building. Okay, palace. You all know what is a palace, isn't it? It is a place where king and queen live. Next source, archaeological source of monument is fort. Okay, fort and all you know, isn't it? So during ancient period, in order to save a city from enemies, the army soldiers they build a strong, large building which we call fort. Okay, so this is another type of archaeological source. Temples, you all know, isn't it? It is a holy place for Hindus. So ancient temples also monuments. They comes under monuments. Stupas. What are stupas? Stupas are holy places for Buddhists. Okay, like how Hindus have temples, Buddhists have stupas. Okay, so they are also monuments erected in remembrance. And finally, monasteries. Monasteries, you all know, isn't it? What is monastery? It is like hostel for monks. Okay, monks are uh, people who dedicated their whole life in worshipping God. And more specifically, monks are belong to Buddhism. So, in order to live in a separate place, they used to make hostels, hostel buildings. They are called monasteries. So, in the picture, you see a hostel, uh, hostel building for Buddhist monks. We call it monasteries. Okay. So, children, these are the um, in, these are the syllabus we covered so far in our lesson 1. I think we completed our lesson 1, and today we studied about what is historical timelines, that is prehistoric period, protohistoric period, and historic period. Then we studied about the 4 types of archaeological sources in history, that is artifacts, coins, inscriptions, and monuments. Okay, children. So with this class, our lesson 1 is completed. If anybody have any doubt regarding lesson 1, you can call me my WhatsApp number. I will answer you. Okay, children. We'll meet in the next class. See you all.